Here's what I think that Tennessee needs to do in this game.
All right.
They have to emphasize protecting Nico. They have to give him as much time as possible. I just mentioned Georgia. They were able to get pressures. They were able to get in Nico's face. The Arkansas loss that they suffered, there were a ton of unimpacted pressures from the interior of Tennessee's offensive line.
Right.
Defensive tackles, an Arkansas D-line that wasn't super productive outside of Landon Jackson, they were getting home up the middle super easily, if you remember back to that game, folks. They have to, and I know that's an accomplishment that is easier said than done, but sometimes if that means leaving in whichever backs on the field into block, leaving a tight end into block, something to provide extra protection, or at least route concepts that are not going to have him sitting in the pocket for too long and trying to read the whole field. Get the ball out quick, protect him, because if he's protected, he plays his best football. And if he plays his best football, as we mentioned on yesterday's show, he's the key for them going on a playoff run if he reaches his potential and plays really freaking good.
I'm trying to replicate Michigan, if I'm being honest with you.
Good point.
I'm really – listen, I think Tennessee can do is clearly better than Michigan. I get it. It's a rivalry game. How does Ohio State respond? I get all of that to the Ohio State fans that will watch this. I'm literally lining up and saying we're going to run the ball in their ass. And we're going to pound the rock with Dylan Sampson. And all night long, we're going to patty smack them up and down the field. Let's go. Joe, I literally have seen two teams against Ohio State this year in Nebraska, and I've literally seen Michigan line up and do it. I synced it with my own eyes, as my son Ben would say. I synced it, okay? So I legitimately look at that and say, listen, why would I change a formula? Why would I change something that other teams that have been productive in beating Ohio State, why would I do anything different? Now, Heupel came out today and stated that he joked, we have nothing new for Ohio State. He's playing chess, not checkers. Run the ball. Run the football. There's no other way to slice it. Now, Joe, for them to win, it's going to take Nico to grow up. It's going to take these receivers to start catching the football. It's going to take this offensive line to stop giving up dumb, idiotic, and stupid pressures that they've given up on just flat out, not even talent issues, mental issues. Nico is going to have to finally step up. I have been waiting to say this a lot because I've trolled you about this a lot too, about Riley Leonard, right? And not being able to complete passes on third downs. Either Nico is going to have to run the football on third down and use his athleticism that we saw him do against Alabama in the second half, or Joe, he's going to have to be productive on third down throwing the football. Because if he's not, this is not a team that you want to be able to be behind the chains, behind the sticks, and behind on the scoreboard because they can lean on you if they need to. So if I'm Tennessee, I'm trying to stick to the game plan that Ohio State has had issues with. At the same time, there are going to be big situations that Nico's going to have to throw the football on third down, and he's got to convert in these big situations. Here's the thing. At some point, this kid's going to pop wide open. And is it going to be this year? It's going to be in the playoff run. When's it going to be? At some point, we've seen, like Joe, we've seen Arkansas. He's making big throws on third down. They get dropped. At some point, those balls are not balls, but those balls are not going to get dropped. So stick with that. Continue. Joe, last thing for me, their offense is predicated on explosive plays. Their offense is predicated on play action passes. When the running game is productive, Nico is productive. So I would start taking some of these shots. The only other adage that I would put on here, I did see Oregon with talented speed receivers get down the field vertically and make plays. Can Tennessee, who's got speed, do that and be productive in doing that is going to be my ultimate question in this game too.
No, I think you summed it up perfectly there. Some of the other parts of this, a lot of it. All right.
I don't like when we agree this much. I
really did a good enough of a job. Well, what we've said before that when we agree, we tend to get a lot of things right.
This is true, and that's scary. Forces. I think it's a 3-point game. I'm going to throw it out there.
It's going to be close.
I'm going to lean Ohio State, but This 7-point spread to me, I'm not taking no 7.5 point spread. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not bet online. I'm putting that bet in on Tennessee to cover, but Ohio State's probably going to win this game.
Last thing on Tennessee. I cannot emphasize this enough. You got to start off fast, and you can't play anemic football. You have to play complementary football. Joe, there were halves in big games, Georgia or Alabama, against Arkansas when they lost. They didn't score points in the first half. They didn't. And I promise you, you go up to Columbus and you do that and see what's going to happen. I know they got issues. You're going to get your ass whipped now. You better go up there and play complimentary football.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.